What if I told you that a single person lived long enough to witness the invention of cars, airplanes, electricity, and even the internet? Jean Louise Calment was born in 1875 in the small town of Alès, France, and she went on to live an unimaginable 122 years. When she was born, people still traveled by horse-drawn carriages and used candles to light their homes. But by the time she passed away in 1997, humanity had reached the moon, and computers were revolutionizing the world. In 1889, when Jean was 14, the Eiffel Tower was being built in Paris. By the time she got married at 21, Mahatma Gandhi had just moved to South Africa. Jean's life unfolded through some of the most monumental events in history. She was 39 when World War I erupted in 1914, and she lived through both world wars, the rise of Hitler, and the tragic loss of her daughter to illness in 1934. By 1942, during World War II, she had also lost her husband. Her life didn't stop there. In fact, Jean was only 72 when India gained independence in 1947. At 94, humans landed on the moon. By 110, she was living in a nursing home and was recognized as the oldest person alive. She died at 122, having witnessed more history than any of us can dream of. But what was her secret? How did she manage to live for so long, even as the world around her changed so drastically? It's tempting to chalk her longevity up to luck. And yes, luck surely played a role. But a deeper question remains. How much of longevity is determined by luck, and how much is shaped by lifestyle choices? To find answers, researchers have been studying this for decades. One famous study, the Danish twin study, analyzed more than 2,800 pairs of twins and concluded that only about 20% of a person's life expectancy is dictated by genetics. The remaining 80%, lifestyle and environment. So, what lifestyle choices can lead to a long, healthy life? One man named Dan Buettner sought to answer this question. Working with National Geographic in the early 2000s, Buettner set out on a global expedition to discover why people in certain regions live significantly longer than the rest of the world. He identified 5 blue zones, places where people consistently live to 100 years and beyond. The first blue zone was Sardinia in Italy, where the highest concentration of male centenarians lived. The second was Okinawa, Japan, known for the longest disability-free life expectancy. In California, the community of Loma Linda, home to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, emerged as another blue zone. Then there was the Greek island of Ikaria, where people live longer and healthier lives than anywhere else in Europe. Finally, the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica made the list. What do these regions have in common? Buettner and his team spent years researching these blue zones and discovered 9 common lifestyle habits shared by their long-living inhabitants. They called these habits the Power 9. The first habit, moving naturally. People in blue zones don't go to the gym or run marathons. Their environments naturally encourage movement throughout the day. In Sardinia, people walk everywhere instead of driving. In Okinawa, many homes don't even have furniture, so sitting on the floor and getting up multiple times a day is part of their routine. In contrast, most of us sit for long periods, whether at work or at home. And this sedentary lifestyle is linked to an increased risk of various diseases. Just walking for 11 minutes a day, studies show, can reduce the risk of premature death by 25%. The second habit is having a sense of purpose. In Okinawa, there's no concept of retirement. Instead, they have something called ikigai, or a reason for being. Similarly, in Costa Rica's Blue Zone, people talk about their plan de vida life plan. Studies show that having a purpose in life can add up to 7 extra years to your life. Stress reduction is the third habit. Chronic stress has been linked to a wide range of health issues, including heart disease and diabetes. The people in blue zones have daily rituals to downshift and relieve stress. In Okinawa, they honor their ancestors. In Sardinia, people meet for a daily happy hour with friends. These simple acts reduce stress, which can add years to life expectancy. The fourth habit is eating wisely, specifically the 80% rule. People in Okinawa follow a practice called hara hachibu, which means eating until they're 80% full. They stop before they're completely satisfied, which prevents overeating and helps maintain a healthy weight. Fasting and calorie restriction have long been linked to longer lifespans in many studies, even in animals. A plant-based diet or a plant slant is the fifth habit. The diets in blue zones are rich in vegetables, legumes, and whole grains. Meat is rarely consumed, and when it is, it's eaten in very small portions. In Loma Linda, many people follow vegetarian or vegan diets, which have been shown to reduce the risk of several chronic diseases like diabetes, cancer, and heart disease. The sixth habit is a bit more controversial: moderate alcohol consumption. In many blue zones, especially Sardinia, people drink red wine daily in small amounts. While older studies suggested moderate wine consumption might be beneficial, newer research indicates that any alcohol intake can be harmful. It seems that the centenarians live long lives despite drinking wine, not because of it. The real secret lies in the social interactions that often accompany that glass of wine. The seventh habit is belonging to a faith-based community. Nearly all centenarians interviewed in blue zones were part of a religious or spiritual community. Attending faith-based services 4 times a month, according to research, can add up to 14 years to life expectancy. The social support, sense of purpose, and mental peace that these communities provide are invaluable. Family comes first in blue zones, which brings us to the eighth habit. People in these regions prioritize their loved ones, often living near or with aging parents and grandparents. They invest time and effort in building close relationships with their spouses and children, which helps improve mental health and longevity. Finally, the ninth habit is finding the right tribe. In Okinawa, people form small, lifelong social circles that support healthy behaviors. Research shows that habits, both good and bad, are contagious. Surrounding yourself with people who have healthy habits can encourage you to adopt those same habits. So, what can we learn from the people living in these blue zones? The good news is that these habits are achievable no matter where you live. You don't have to move to Sardinia or Okinawa to live a long, healthy life. By incorporating natural movement, finding purpose, reducing stress, eating wisely, staying socially connected, and prioritizing your family and community, you can drastically improve your chances of living a long and fulfilling life. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,